I have been using this open source software for the past 20 years. I did not even know that it was an open source software back then. Heck, I did not even know what an open source software was at that time. I was using Windows XP. Now, don't judge me. I think everyone used Windows at some point in their lifetime. Anyways, um, so I use this tiny tool to scan for other computers on my subnetwork. I used it back then and I still use it till date. It's a simple GUI tool that just gets the job done. Let me share why it's my go-to networking tool even after 20 years. The idea is simple. You open the Angry IP scan tool and it automatically gets the current IP range. So you just have to hit the scan button. Wait for the scan to complete and you can see a number of dead and alive hosts. There are plenty of dead IPs in red. You can jump to the next alive host from the menu, but I filtered them to only show alive hosts. Now, if I scan them again, it only shows the relevant host and thus relevant information. These days, I use it to see other devices on my home network. There's Jima board, Terramaster NAS, some Raspberry Pis, and other devices in my home lab. I use it to quickly find their IP addresses and when they connect to the network, I see them on the network, I get their IP addresses and use them. This is much more convenient than using nmap for me at least, because I don't have to manually provide the IP range anymore. Like here, if I connect to a different subnetwork, I restart Angry IP scan and it automatically takes the new IP range. If it was nmap, I would have to find the gateway IP and then define the range to, scan the subnetwork. Angry IP scan makes the job much easier. I recently messed up the DNS so it doesn't open with host name anymore, but I can still copy the IP address and enter it in the browser to access the home lab dashboard or the NAS. Control plus C keyboard shortcut still works for copying the IP, so you don't have to copy it through the mouse right click. Similarly, I can use the IP to SSH into my Pi. That's what I use it for. And as you can see, I made a typo when creating the username. I misspelled my name. That's me, typo. Typo is my superpower. Anyways, the tool has a few options for you to explore. Like you can go to the next or previous dead or alive host, save the result, show the details of an IP address. You have already seen most of these options. You can also add your frequently used IP address range if you have a complex subnetwork system. I rarely use these options. What I do use is to change the preference to only show alive hosts. There is a command line option displayed in its UI which is not useful to me. The tool is IP scan. If you look for Angry IP scan in the terminal, you won't find it. It's called IP scan. And if you give it a range to scan, like whatever is defined syntax here, instead of scanning the network in the terminal, which is what I would expect it to do, it just opens the GUI, which makes little sense to me, but hopefully it has some usability for someone else because it's a feature there. So probably there is a use for it. I'll be honest, the user interface is not the most modern here and it doesn't blend well with the rest of the system. It doesn't even have dark mode. But as long as it does the job, well, who am I to complain about aesthetics and dark modes and stuff? 20 years ago, I was in my hostel or dormitory, whatever you want to call it, and we had this huge interconnected subnetwork of computers, like over 100 computers. They all connected to this network, and we used it to, share music, files, PDF files, notes, movies, some classified videos, and Angry IP Scan was the tool to find the computers on their subnetworks, find their IPs and then access the publicly shared folders. And I find it strangely pleasant that I still use it, even after 20 years ago. Do you also have any such software that you have been using for years? Do share it in the comments and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep on using Linux, keep on using open source software. Have a nice day. Bye bye.